Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's head-to-head comparison, let's take a look at the BMW M240i and the BMW 230i. Now I've borrowed both of these from Hendrick BMW Northlake. Take a look at the website, that link is down in the description. Now these are both 2024 year models. I have been able to check out the 25 M240. It's mainly just the steering wheel and the badging that is different. I haven't been able to find the 25 230 yet, so once I am, I will take a full video of that and we'll see what some of the differences are. So at least we have two 24 models to compare with. So let's start off with pricing for both of these two series. For the 230, these start around $39,200. For the M240, they start around $50,100. So there is a significant price difference with a base 240. With a fully loaded 230, you might creep up closer to that price point. Now for the 230, this is powered by a 2-liter twin power turbo inline 4-cylinder. It is paired to an 8-speed automatic, and it pumps out 255 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. This model here is rear-wheel drive, however the xDrive all-wheel drive system is available. Now for the M240, this is powered by a 3-liter twin power turbo inline 6, paired to an 8-speed automatic, and it pumps out 382 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. This model here is rear-wheel drive, however the xDrive all-wheel drive system is also available. Now for curb weights, the 230 weighs in around 3,400 pounds versus 3,700 pounds for the M240. 0 to 60 is going to be closer to 5.5 seconds for this rear-wheel drive 230 and 4.5 seconds for the rear-wheel drive M240. Those numbers will be slightly quicker, around 5 seconds, and closer to 4 seconds for the 240 with the all-wheel drive system. Now both of these have a top speed of 155 miles an hour, and as far as fuel economy goes, you're looking at 26 miles per gallon in the city, 35 out on the highway for the 230. The 240 is going to have 23 and 32. Now as we work our way to the exterior styling, you'll notice that we do have a very similar look. For this 230, there's gloss black for the kidney grille, all the active grille shutters. No camera for this model, however that is an option. There's all the parking sensors, gloss black in that lower section with a lot more cutouts, and then pretty much the same design for this 240. However, there are some different trim accents, like all the brushed aluminum accents. There is a forward-facing camera for this model, and everything else is nearly the same, minus a little bit of the trim accents. Now the headlights are also going to have the exact same look to them, so those are nearly the same, as well as the hoods. Both of them have that bulge in that back portion of the hood. Now as we work our way to the side, wheel options are going to vary. We can at least show the differences with the red M Sport brakes versus the blue M Sport brakes. So those are interchangeable with both of these models depending on the color that suits you best. And then we have some more trim accent differences like the brushed aluminum. These are power folding with the camera and the turn signal. There's also a sunroof for this model. And then for this model here, we just have the turn signal with the body color there, and then a sunroof as well. And again, some of these are options, just depending on how you would like to spec them. The sides are going to be pretty much the same, being the exact same 2 series. Both of these models have gloss black for the lower side skirt there. It's a little bit harder to see with that purple versus the contrast on the red there. And then in back, we have basically the exact same design. With a small spoiler, there's also the dual exhaust in the lower section with all the gloss black, backup camera, all the sensors. And then as we take a look at the trunk space now, no power trunk lid for this model. You get some storage on one side with a net there. There's also some tie downs, nothing under the floor. And then you can also fold down the back seats too. So just pull on those tabs and that will give you a lot more space. But just to take a look now at the 240, we do have a difference with the exhaust tips. So we have a little bit bigger of a spoiler, same taillights, and then the dual exhaust is much wider there with gloss black in the diffuser. We have the backup camera, all the parking sensors, and then same thing, no power trunk for this model, but you get the exact same cargo space, same grab handle and everything like that. So let's work our way to the 230 now, where this has the flush mounted door handles there. And then for the interior, again, color options are going to vary, but this has memory seating adjustments. Side mirrors are power folding. You have the window controls, trunk release, storage in the lower section. And then this model has a really nice set of seats. And then we can also hop into the back just to take a look at that. So you have the handle in the back to release it. And then from there, this seat will move forwards, giving you a space to hop into the back. So at 5'10", I can hop into the back here where we have some vents in the middle. There's a little bit of storage down below. And then you have some armrests with speakers there, and I am just up against the headliner here, so I could ride around town. You're not buying this for a full 4-seater, but I could stuff myself in the back here if I needed a ride. Right in the middle, there's 2 cup holders along with the armrest, and then you can even fold down the middle seat individually if you would like to. And then as far as visibility goes, that's a pretty thin pillar back there, so it's pretty easy to see. And as we hop to the 240 now, we have the same design, of course. And then for this door panel, basically the exact same. It doesn't have that graphic on the back there. This is just gloss black for this model. And then pretty much the same seats. And as we flip this up, no need to hop into the back because we have the exact same seating. It's going to be identical with all of these functions and features. Now for these 24-year models, mainly the only difference is we have the rounded off steering wheel. So there is a flat bottom design for the 25-year models. And again, I have a full review on a 25 240 if you would like to see that. So for this model here, we'll just go over some of the basics. Heated steering wheel, you have all of your cruise control settings, paddle shifters as well. And then you have a lot of information that you can go through in the digital gauge cluster here. This model also has a head-up display, so you can go through those settings just depending on what you need to see. And then there's also the layout as well, so you can adjust that as needed. Now on this left side, no storage space. You have all of your headlight adjustments, 1 vent there. And then with the infotainment system, it's going to be a little bit different with the 25-year model. All of this information is in the lower section. So just a little bit different of a layout, but all the information is relatively the same. As far as going through all of these apps, getting into your music, phone, your climate menu as well. This model has heated seats. You have your temperature dials as well. So pretty easy to go through that. There's climate vents underneath that. You have power and tuning, wireless charging, which is an option, cup holders and auxiliaries. You have all these shortcuts to be able to go through that screen as well. And then for the shifter, you just push that forwards, where this model has the 360 camera. So that is an option for the 230, where you pretty much have no shortage of visibility, including your forward-facing camera as well. You do have some other shortcuts over on this left side, and then a few different driving modes. So this will basically modulate your throttle response depending on the power output that you would like. You have your auto hold and e-brake, a little bit of storage there, along with plenty of storage in the glove box. And then up top, you have garage door buttons along with your rear view mirror. And then here's a look at visibility. With the pillars in the back there, they are pretty thin. So even over that left shoulder, it's very easy to see. Now, as we work our way to the 230 again, we have the same steering wheel, of course. 25-year model is going to be slightly different. And then as we start this up, no need to go through everything as this is identical, but let's just pull up where you have everything here, including your head-up display. You can go through all of this information as well. So that is all going to be the same heated steering wheel, controls on this side. There's really no differences to point out. We have all the same information here that you can go through, and this one's actually spec'd very similarly with all the gloss black. Now this does have more of that coloring over on the passenger side, which matches the door panel very nicely, but everything down here is the same. So we're just going through that twice, basically. As well as all of the storage space, glove box is going to be the same, garage door buttons, and then you have the adjustments. Both sunshades are going to be power operating. And you would expect no differences for visibility over both shoulders here. That is all going to be the same. So with some of the differences out of the way, as well as all of the similarities, let's get these out on the road now and see the differences in how these drive. So let's start off behind the wheel for the 230. Let's put it into sport mode, and we have it in Sport Plus. We can go into and use the paddles here. And for the short test drive we're doing today and the accelerations, this is still a pretty peppy sports car to go with. So if you're looking for that sports car vibe, you want a really nice luxury focused vehicle, you're not necessarily interested in the horsepower, this is still plentiful for the type of buyer wanting this car. I think it's still a fun vehicle. It's going to handle well, just be very comfortable and quiet. And this is something that is just going to make for a great daily driver. There's not really an exhaust note to it, which is nice. So again, just adding to the comfort of what this vehicle has to offer. Paddles are very responsive too. So it's a nice entry-level type of sports car. And as we give it another acceleration, seating position is also very nice. We have the paddle shifters, which are in a good spot too. And again, for the 25-year model, flat bottom design for the steering wheel, but everything else is pretty much the same. So it's a nice vehicle for its price point too, right around $40,000. I mean, you're getting into a BMW for a relatively affordable price. That's the cost of some other brands that may not be as luxurious as this or give you the same ride quality. So if you want a BMW, it's not really going to break the bank, especially when you compare it to other sports cars in today's world. So you can get a rear-wheel drive, kind of basic model. That's what we're in right now, but it has a great look to it with all these options, Harman Kardon for the audio too. So we have a few options for this particular model just to give it a very nice layout. So now let's hop into the 240. And behind the wheel now for the 240, for what I'm doing today, it's not going to look different, but the 240 definitely has a lot more power. There's also a lot more tuning potential with this engine, a lot more following with the 240 as far as doing modifications. You could do that to the 230 if you would like to, but the 240 is going to give you a better platform if that is something that you are interested in doing. But we have nearly the same vehicle here. We don't have the same sound system, which is interesting for this model, but again, you can spec them all the way that you would like to with several different options. But the ride and drive is going to be nearly identical. This is going to handle a little bit different since it does weigh about 300 pounds more, which is a significant difference. Interesting to see that added weight, but I'm sure there's some other components here that just add to the weight. But for its weight, we have a lot more power too, so it can handle that added curb weight. Seating position is the same. It's going to be nearly the same vehicle driving in just normal situations. You just get the performance from the 240 if you are looking for that. So essentially you're going from an entry-level sedan or coupe with the 230, then you're almost going into kind of an entry-level performance luxury sports car. So with the 240, it costs significantly more, so around $50,000, which in the grand scheme of things, if you want a performance vehicle, 50 grand, 55 grand is still a lot of money, but for a BMW that you have a lot more potential with, I don't think it's all that bad. So you're kind of getting into that entry-level 2 Series performance from BMW without going to a 3 Series, 4 Series, 5 Series, you know, getting more expensive and more powerful vehicles. But with the 240, you can still get a good bit of power. This is very similar to the Toyota Supra with the B58, and those cars are dynoing with ridiculous power. So if you got this with all-wheel drive, which the Supra doesn't get, you'll be able to put that power to the ground if you decide to tune it and go with a lot more power. So you have 2 entry-level BMW 2 Series with a lot of different reasonings why to buy them, but you get a great driving vehicle nonetheless. So back from our test drives now with the 230 and the M240. Both of these are very fun 2 Series from BMW, but they serve different purposes. If you're looking again for basically that entry-level type of sports car, you just want the sports car look and feel without going with that power, you go with the 230. If you want a little bit more and you want some real performance, the M240 is a great option to go with, on par with the Toyota Supra as well. So you have a lot of tuning potential with this, which a lot of owners are doing. Only downside is it only comes in the automatic, so you can't get a manual transmission for either of these vehicles, but it is still very fun nonetheless, very performance oriented, very responsive too, and basically nearly identical vehicles minus that power plant. So comment down below, would you rather have more of a luxury focused sports car or a luxury focused sports car with that additional power? If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.